Your higher self is the real you, the soul consciousness that is much more than the physical form you know so well. Your higher self is that part of you which is unlimited and eternal. It's the part of you that ignites you with inspiration, guides you with intuition, and teaches you with insight. Your intentions, desires, and secrets are known to your higher self. You know all about yourself, but chances are you've only had a very limited conversation with your higher self. These incredibly useful flashes of insight and inspiration can become a much more critical part of your life when allowing this communication to flourish. Connecting with your higher self is a paradox. You are always connected. It's more than a connection. It is a link. The physical you cannot be separated from the energetic consciousness of you. But here we are in this physical state, and part of that involves feeling disconnected from everything else. In reality, there is no separation. Higher self is often used to describe a meaningful state of mind that is quite difficult to achieve. It's a term widely used by spiritual gurus, sages, and monks, and it is not always easy to define due to the nature of the person associated with primitive instincts. For this reason, higher consciousness is generally defined as that part of the human mind which can overcome animal instincts, or lower consciousness. Much of our life has been spent in lower consciousness, paying more attention to our external environment to survive. It's a byproduct of modern life. Additionally, we tend to cling to the idea that higher consciousness is not a scientific concept, but an esoteric or religious concept. It can be seen as the prevalent concept in modern spirituality that seeks to discredit the ideas that prevail in ancient mystical teachings, such as the Indian Vedas. However, human nature is by no means one-sided. Its divine essence is contained in the name itself, man. Eckhart Tolle, spiritual teacher and best-selling author, explains, "You are a human being. In addition to describing who you are as a member of a particular species, these two words, when examined more closely, underscore the dual nature of your identity. Man is what you are. Form, that is, your body and mind. These two aspects of your form identity constitute your conditioned self. This ego is conditioned by genetics and environment and other factors as yet unknown of science. On the other hand, showing the essence of who you are as a timeless, formless, and unconditional consciousness. Man and being, form and being, are ultimately not separate, just like a wave or wave on the surface of the ocean is not separated from the ocean or another wave or wave, even if likely. Your higher self is the best guide to a meaningful experience here. The challenges of life can be opportunities that awaken a higher level of consciousness. According to Eckhart Tolle, if you believe that life is there to make you happy, a big shock awaits you. Everyone on this planet will face challenges from time to time. When you have the inevitable, terrible thing, you have a choice. You can become sad, resentful, angry, and live in a state of unhappiness. Or you can watch the challenge as it progresses from a deeper state of consciousness without judgment. So, your higher self is that ability that allows you to stay calm from the inside out in an exciting situation. Therefore, it is your best internal guidance that leads you to the best action. Therefore, whenever you have an impossible feeling or preach, yourself tries to communicate with you. If you have discarded those gut thoughts and feelings, you may be wondering why. Information coming from the higher self does not necessarily collect the physical senses, but it is valid. After all, you can't physically feel gravity, but of course something is stopping you from disappearing like a birthday balloon. Many of us are so accustomed into believing in what we see only with our bodily senses. We, therefore, tend to ignore this essential aspect of ourselves. Another problem you may have with the messages you receive from your higher self is that they are confusing, scrambled, and ultimately baptized, especially if they come to you in your dreams. Keeping a diary of these cryptographic and symbolic messages is very useful because sometimes the answers are clear when writing about them. Sometimes you can hear voices. Other times you get images or need to do something powerful or not. One skill that will develop as you get used to listening to your higher self is understanding the fear-based voice of the ego and the internal and eternal voice of your higher self. You can develop a keen awareness of your body as a great translator of your high-level messages. So, there are 3 ways to connect with your higher self. Number 1, the dreamland. First, your higher self speaks to you in your dream state, the realm of your subconscious. It is the state where all mental constructions are released and taken to control your reality. This is the stage of sleep called REM, or REM, rapid eye movement, when the activity of the brain neurons is as active as in waking hours, with the only difference being that your body is completely relaxed. The most vivid dreams that are remembered occur during REM sleep, when you enter the higher consciousness. It is crucial that everyone who wants to expand their consciousness begin to remember their dreams and write them down in a diary. Your higher self connects with you every night during your dream state to give you clues and illuminate your blind spots. Your message for the day is to pay close attention to what you need to put aside right now. It's important to understand that each character in your dream is represented to yourself, an aspect of your subconscious that you probably don't know. For example, when you dream of the person who was present in your life at some point, your higher self tells you that there are events that happened in your life at that time and that you have not learned. And now, repeat those patterns. Another example is how your higher self draws attention to the fear you need to release through nightmare scenarios. Depending on the symbolism of your dreams, stick to past traumas and apologize to yourself and others. Or cast your shadows that manifest as persecutors or negatively charged characters. Once you have become steadfast in remembering your dreams, you can master transparent dreams and consciously connect with your higher self in clear dreams. Number 2, meditation. Meditation is one of the most potent ways to consciously connect with your higher self. Your higher consciousness is not separate from you, it is always present. A high frequency of vibrations characterizes the highest aspect of your consciousness. When you have deep love and gratitude, when you truly forgive, that is when you truly live out your higher self-awareness. Therefore, meditation is designed to help you connect with your own higher goals. First, by increasing your vibrational frequency. You can use guided meditation or meditate on yourself by tuning into a state of deep gratitude for your life and then establishing a resolution to reunite with your higher self. Imagine a quiet, peaceful environment, somewhere you love to be inside. Do not do it. Stay there. If you wish, you can imagine your higher self as a physical presence, as your best friend sitting next to you. Or you can imagine yourself surrounded by warm and loving energy. Go with the images that suit you. Once you feel the presence of your high being, you can ask questions about anything. The higher self does not judge or criticize. Be open to the answers you get, regardless of the form. Remember that your answers may include different modes of delivery, words, feelings, images, or perceptions. Be open to whatever you feel like. Review everything connected, as things can become evident after a while in the waking state as synchronizations or dreams. And number 3, literary or expressive writing. You can ask questions and write your first answers, or write quick answers to your questions, then go back and reread them, knowing your physical and emotional response. You will immediately see if your answer comes from the higher soul or self. Journalism helps you make sense of messages you do not receive right away. If the answers seem brighter than usual, it's the loud one. If the answers seem strong or seem to tell others what they want to hear, they come from ego. How can I tell the difference between ego and higher self? So, how do you tell the difference between a fear based response to content and the voice of the Supreme Being? How do you know the answers are not imaginary or something that was made up in your mind to convince you? Well, here it is. If you feel a physical sensation of anxiety, tension, fear, or anger, you're talking to an ego. The ego creates its own identity under pain. That's what she knows. That's what she's happy with, and it's the language she understands. She wants to continue recognizing that denial because she has an identity there. If you feel a simple bodily feeling, love, energy, joy, etc., you are talking to the supreme personality of the Duhed. There is no recognition in the higher self. There is only energy, no beginning and no end. The higher self's natural state is cheap, loving, and happy. One way is to ask yes or no questions and then listen to a quick answer, sometimes even before you finish the question. Going through the brain programs, most likely to have this quick response to yourself. If you give yourself time to analyze your question, believe me, the mind will start drawing attention to its usually bad news. You, that is, as tall as you are your best guide, your last teacher. So make room for yourself higher and find out what's going on in your life. Ask big questions to yourself. Your life will have a new meaning and a whole new direction, perhaps, as your higher self tells you what is right for you.